Greetings to all. My name is Milmantas, and I'm the founder of Milmantas Immigration Services, a Canadian immigration company located in Toronto, Ontario. Today, I will discuss how your resume should be prepared for Canadian immigration purposes, as the Canadian resume format is different. It is imperative that your resume is prepared having in mind that it will be read by an immigration officer. Your resume may be included in submitting your application for a study permit, work permit, or a permanent resident application, such an application as Ontario Immigrant Nominee application. For immigration purposes, chronological resume is the best. After you immigrate to Canada, you will need to amend it again for the Canadian labor market, which has different requirements. So you will need to meet employers and the recruiters' needs. With digital age, the recruitment industry has changed enormously. What worked in the past can be professionally fatal today, as the recruiters do not read resumes, they just scan them. The result? You have 20 seconds to impress the recruiter. Does your resume look chaotic? Is there any irrelevant information? Do you really expect the recruiter to read your long list of job responsibilities? Think twice. Yes, you might be the best candidate with the great qualifications, but if your resume does not communicate it at a glance, you are done. It is your job to show immediately that you are the ideal candidate. The first impression is the most important part of the resume. Therefore, you will need to research how to effectively prepare your resume at that time. For now, I would like to assist you in preparing your resume for your immigration-related applications. You need to bear in mind that your resume will be read by an immigration officer in charge of your file. Therefore, it needs to meet the immigration requirements. Every country has different requirements, and the resume prepared for countries in the European Union, or let's say for an Indian market, will not meet the requirements neither of Canadian employers nor of Canadian immigration, as immigration officers will be looking for specific information related to your immigration file. If you're applying for a specific immigration program, you may also want to check if your resume fits the criteria of the program in the first place. There are specific rules about which jobs are considered skilled trades or skilled workers, for example. Also, if the job fits the criteria, keep those criteria in mind when writing your description of your past work experience. Just make sure that duties and skills you mention in your description are accurate to the positions you have held. Please also bear in mind that your resume included in your immigration application should coincide with your social media accounts, such as Instagram, LinkedIn, as immigration officers do cross-reference your resume with social media accounts. So now let's look at sample resumes and very briefly critique them to prevent such mistakes in your resume. Okay, we're looking at this very bright resume prepared on black background with yellow colors. And this resume doesn't give anything. It is very convoluted. It is just signs. An immigration officer will not gain any insight of your experience. Neither the Canadian employer. It will be for Canadian employer, it will write go into the wastebasket. Another resume was prepared briefly. There are so many mistakes. CV, the word CV should not be on your resume. Personal details should not be on your resume. Date of birth, never. Nationality, education. In this case, education should be at the end and not at the beginning. And when you look at this resume, what is the title of the person? What did she do? What was the title? Implemented something, but in a way, the person has had to have a title. European past resume. I will not mention the mistakes that were made on the previous resume, but I'll go to what is new. Current position. PhD. This is education, but this is not a position. So therefore, it should not be under current position. It should be under education. The resume is not very straightforward. It's not clear what this person is doing, what is his duties and responsibilities. Inconsistent where capital, lowercase, also all these things matter. And it's a brief summary of do's and don'ts of Canadian resumes. Just a brief reminder what you need to look at. You should not include your photo. Unless maybe you are in a specific industry where photos are required, but for regular positions, you should ditch your photos. You don't want to be judged by your photo. You want to be judged by your experience and expertise and not your photo. And this is an example of suggested chronological resume that you should be using for your immigration applications. I also invite you to refer to the summary of do's and don'ts of Canadian resumes. If you're intending to come to Canada as a worker or a student, or are planning to permanently relocate to Canada and need assistance in submitting your application, please contact us and we will be happy to assist you. Thanks for watching, and I hope the material was informative. I kindly invite you to like and subscribe to the channel in order to gain the latest immigration news and the tips I will be sharing gained over 20 years of experience. Thank you and take care.